A change of pace was in order for today because it's so hot and humid here, and it actually has been raining, but it's a little bit miserable. Our house is incredibly stuffy. So I decided to take a little outing to Michael's and World Market. I went to the south where there's a large shopping center. It's actually just over the county line in Douglas County. And there was some weather down there. I saw a lightning strike and a lot of dark clouds, but I had a good time at Michael's. I bought myself some blank canvases because I am planning to do some painting, but I also found little paint kits, which, let's see if I could show you the picture on that one. That one is a sun, and then the one I'm going to work on today is love. And the kit comes with the canvas. It's already pre-printed, so it's almost like a paint by number. And then it comes with the little tubes of paint. Came with 6 little tubes of paint and the little paint tray and a couple of really tiny cute brushes, and then a couple of pens to tidy up the edges. So, oh, also a sheet that tells how to mix different colors, because obviously aside from the primary colors, you need to mix what you need for the project. So I was going to show you what I'm working on as I'm doing it, but I'm afraid I brought the wrong tripod for that. You can tell by the angle, I'm using a different tripod. Like I said, I'm very out of sorts today. So what I'm going to do is I will just chat with you about what I'm doing as I'm doing it, and then I'll show you the finished product. So, let's see, these are a little tip. So if you've never painted before and you do pick up one of these kits, when you take off the little top, there will be something to keep the paint from coming out. You flip the top over and it should poke a hole. So now the paint will come out. So there's my red. This is fun. I haven't painted for a while. And I do have a cup of water because I'm going to need it. Okay, whoops. Yellow is going everywhere. I probably should have brought some paper towels. Hold on just a second. I need to clean my hands. Okay, I grabbed my paper towel. It didn't take long. I already look like a painter because I've gotten paint all over my fingers. You can see it's all yellow. Oh boy. So let's see here. Oops. Clumsy. All right. Here's blue. Yes, like I said, the weather has got me really out of sorts today. So let's see here. I think I got, that's Prussian, that's phthalo. Prussian blue and phthalo blue. That makes me think of Bob Ross. If anybody ever watched Bob Ross and the Joy of Painting, he used a lot of things like Prussian blue and phthalo blue. I distinctly remember him using phthalo blue. So that one is phthalo blue. That's my second one. And then my Prussian blue is going to be in my first little tray. And that looks almost black. So that's pretty cool. So now you can see I have my paints in my little tray, and I have my little paint cup. I took art classes in college, so I have a lot of art supplies sitting around, and I'm going to start using them up because I really need to. So what I'm going to do is start with the heart. If you can see that, there it is, the heart, and start painting that red. So I went to Michael's, and of course they had all the Halloween things out. So I will show you a little footage of what Michael's looked like. They had some really cool Romeo and Juliet things. the Capulets and the Montagues. And I took some photographs, so I can actually just pop the photos in here also. But it was fun. I'm happy that I did not buy any of the stuff that I was looking at because it can be rather expensive. And this early in the season, it's not going to be on sale. When it's on sale later, whatever's left, I might go see if there's anything fun. There was a lot of Edgar Allan Poe stuff, including Raven things, and I almost bought those because I really wanted more little goodies for my shelf up here. But what I'm going to do instead is on one of my blank canvases, I think I'm going to paint Mr. Poe. And then on another canvas, I will paint a raven, and maybe I'll hang them under the shelf right here, kind of as a way to spruce up my ambiance a little bit. So that will be fun. And as I do that, I will also take you along on the journey because that's a fun thing to do. Of course, I read the instructions for this and I've already started going against the instructions because that's just what I do. According to the instructions, I was supposed to do the background first, but I felt like doing the heart first because hearts are cool and I love love. So right now, I'm painting the heart. But to go back to Michael's, I'll show you, there's this aisle. Here's where the Edgar Allan Poe things were. There was a typewriter, which I already have several of these little, they're not real typewriters, obviously, they're just for decor. But the typewriters are really cool. And the one that they happen to have right now is for the Raven. So I was kind of hoping to actually find a Raven, like bust type of a Raven. They did have an audio animatronic one, but I didn't really want that. I wanted something a little bit classier. So I'm going to attempt to do a painting of Edgar Allan Poe. And I've already colored outside the lines, which is okay. But I will do a painting of Mr. Poe, and I will do a painting of the Raven. And like I said, I will hang them up here behind me. And that way, yeah, it's bleeding heart here. It's kind of outside the lines all over the place. But that way I'll add to the ambiance of my little work area as I'm working on my poems for Spooktober. I did do a reading of the Raven yesterday, and I don't think people are quite ready to go there yet because it did not get a lot of views, but that's okay. Hopefully by the time October rolls around, those videos might pick up a little interest. So okay, and here is the heart. It's messy, I don't care. Oh, so let me see. Now, according to this, the L, these lines here are supposed to be the light blue, which is pale blue. So now I will work on those, but back when I was in college, like I was saying, I did take some art classes and they were a lot of fun. One of the things I really enjoyed was there was, I think it was a painting class. It might have been sketching, but we actually were copying pictures that were projected onto a large screen in the classroom. And one of the pictures was actually a Rembrandt, but it wasn't the typical Rembrandt that most people know. It was actually a Rembrandt of, I feel like it was a side of beef or something that was hanging in a butcher shop. And I have a very distinct memory of what that looked like. So I chose to copy that, and I actually did have a lot of fun with it. So I really enjoyed my art classes. And as a general studies major, I thought it was good to have a variety of classes. I took things like philosophy and writing, of course. I took a poetry class. I took a lot of history classes, and I am really painting outside the lines now. So what I'm going to do, there are supposed to be 3 lines here. I'm actually going to combine 2 of the lines because I've now painted so far outside the lines that it's going to be really messy. So I'm going to change up the design a little bit and make 2 lines for the L and have them be joined together, and have 2 of the lines be joined together so that there's one big one and one small one, because I'm an artist and I can do that. I'm just trying to not go outside the lines quite so much this time. And I've done it again. Oh well. You know what? We're going to make it one big one. Oh, this is fun. I really should do this more often, because especially on days like this where I'm really feeling out of sorts, it's good to do something fun and just enjoy myself. I'm not going to stress about painting outside the lines because who cares, really? This is just for my own benefit. Something fun to do while I sit down here in the basement where it's actually cool. So I'm still going outside the lines just a tiny bit. It's kind of hard to control these brushes. But oh well. I painted our bedroom. The walls in our bedroom are a nice dark blue because we like to have the room dark when we sleep. And I actually, when I painted the room, I also had trouble staying within the lines on the wall because we have white trim in there. So even now, I think I did that paint job maybe a decade ago. So I'm sure I am probably due a refresh of that bedroom, and I can touch up where I got the blue paint on the trim. But I think just painting outside the lines is kind of my thing. Especially with these little brushes. It's really hard to get a fine line going. Ooh, now I'm just getting spots everywhere. I am also not mixing paint colors. I'm just going to use the colors I have because that will be easier. Okay, there. It's messy. It looks like a kid did it. But that's okay because it's fun, and that's what I'm doing. I'm having fun. So this is my permission for you to do the same thing. If you have, a lot of people now are getting those adult coloring books, and they actually have some very intricate ones. I got one from JT for my 60th birthday that I should use more often. And it actually has some inappropriate things in it. So I'm not going to talk about what it says, but I have had fun with that also. And I do like coloring and painting and sketching and writing and music. One of the other things I did today was straighten up my little library room because I was trying to do some low energy activities around the house, and I did not want to really do anything that was going to make me sweat too much, but unfortunately, it just, wow, I really cannot stay in the lines. It did not work out. I was so sweaty and uncomfortable by the time I was done that it was just really frustrating, and I was so cranky. And that's when I tried to record my first video today, because it was just, it was not fun. And it is still a little bit humid and uncomfortable, which is why I'm in the basement instead of upstairs. So I did the little dots. Oh my gosh, this is just such a mess, but it's okay. We don't care. Like Bob Ross was so fond of saying, it was a happy accident. Now try to get some of this dark stuff off of here. Let me see. Now I think I'm supposed to use the lighter blue for the V. I don't have a lot of faith in my coloring inside the lines, but we're going to continue doing what we're doing because we're having a good time. I proofread Battleborn Bride today, which was a lot of fun also. The proofread went back to Red Adept. So they are going to run a quote check to make sure all of the quotes are where they're supposed to be, the quotation marks for punctuation. So once they do the quote checks and I get the manuscript back, that will be pretty much my final draft, which I will be getting ready for formatting. I need to format it. And I also need to create all the back matter that's going to go in the book. So I'm getting closer to having that ready for publication. One of the canvases that I got may be for a test cover for Battleborn Bride, because like I've said in previous videos, I do have a very distinct idea in mind. So I'm going to attempt to do the cover, because sometimes if I get a very vivid picture in my mind, I can actually create it. If you have seen some of my previous videos, I did post one where I showed some sketches that I'd done in the past, one of Princess Diana and Mother Teresa. And I'm very proud of those because they actually look like the people that I meant them to look like. So I can do it when inspiration strikes. And I have had such a clear picture in my head of what I want that cover to look like that I'm hopeful it will actually turn out the way I expect it to. So I am going to attempt, I will probably sketch it onto the canvas first and then try to paint it. And oh boy, doesn't this look like a kid? But that's okay. I am not Rembrandt, which, you know, I don't even think at the time that Rembrandt knew he was Rembrandt. But it's definitely interesting doing artistic things, whether they are literary arts or visual arts, because you can pretty much do whatever you want. There really are no rules in art. And that's why I don't get too worried about painting outside the lines, because even if I do, I can always go back and fix it. These are, I believe, acrylic paints. Yes, they are acrylics. There are, if you're not familiar with art, painting, for example, there are various kinds of paints that you can use. There are watercolors, there are acrylics, there is gouache, there are oils. In my mind, oils are the most difficult to work with because I think they take quite a while to actually dry. So I have never actually tried oils. I've worked with acrylics a lot. I'm not too fond of watercolor, but I may have to try it again because I don't know that I gave it a fair chance, and I think it could be fun if I figure out how to do it properly. And oh boy, here we go, outside the lines again. So I am very familiar with acrylics. I think I'm probably most comfortable with acrylics, even though I can be rather sloppy with them. So, yeah, this is definitely kind of a mess. Okay, so now the O is done. And I think this is where I'm going to call it for today. I'm going to let this dry and then I'll work on the background tomorrow. Since I do have paint out on my little palette, what I'm going to do is cover it with some aluminum foil so it doesn't dry out. And that way I can just pick up where I left off tomorrow. But here is my messy love painting so far. I just need to do the background now. And this actually does remind me a lot of some of the artwork from the 1960s when I was a kid. It wasn't always pretty, but it was kind of fun. So I'm enjoying this. I'm glad I went out and got the paints. I'm glad I'm now covered in paint. So I will attempt to bring down my other tripod the next time I paint so that you can actually watch what I'm doing, because this little one is not going to work that way. But I will try to do this every once in a while because, like I said, it is fun and we can just chat while I'm working. But in the future, hopefully we can chat so that you can actually see what I'm working on and you can watch me color outside the lines and all that. And we'll see how that goes, because once I finish this one, I will be going back to do that one. I really like that one too. And I'm not quite sure where I'm going to hang these yet. I don't have a lot of wall space, but I'm sure I can find a couple little spots, maybe in my library, which I was mentioning earlier. I was straightening up my library and moved around my guitar and my violin. That's where I was going with that, because that's another type of art that I enjoy, is music. And I'm going to get back to my music. I need to do a little work to fix up my guitar. One of the pegs for the strings is missing. So I got a new set of pegs. I'm going to replace those. And then I think I have all the strings and everything I need, so I can start playing around with music. Down here in the basement, I also have a pair of tap shoes. So I meant to teach myself tap dancing at one point, and I'm going to get back to that. It could be a good way to exercise down here where it's cooler during the summer, because exercising upstairs, I turn into a sweaty mess. So I think I will end this video here for now. I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me while I did a little fun paint job, and I hope you enjoyed the footage of the Halloween stuff from Michael's, because they have some really cool stuff this year. If you are in an area that has a Michael's, go check it out because there's some fun stuff. Anyway, I'm Cassidy Carson, and this is The Life of a Writer. I'll chat with you tomorrow. Take care.